Tour of England 2009, the British War Museum. These are 15-inch guns displayed outside the War Museum. They were put on battleships in First World War. This is the British War Museum, the front of the building, and it was opened up in about the 1920s or somewhere around about that to show the history of the British wars. At the end of the Second World War, the Germans were developing weapons to bomb and destroy London. V1 and V2 rockets, and you can see the inside and the jet engines. It's about 18 metres in height. It's estimated they killed about 6,000 people and destroyed a lot of London. In World War II, the Russian T-34 tank was probably the most successful tank during the whole of the war. The Americans would tell you another thing. But this one was captured by Israel from the Egyptians during that 7-day war and given to the British Museum. This is a German submarine torpedo, about 1942, and it's electric. The German submarines in World War II caused a huge amount of damage and nearly won the war for them. But as usual, Hitler made too many mistakes and didn't rely on tried and proven technology like these submarines to win the war. This is a German anti-aircraft gun, a Flak 36. Caused huge amount of damage to the British and obviously the American airplanes during World War II. About 1,500 of these were made. That's what the sign tells me anyway. This is a tail plane of a German fighter that destroyed about 120 English bombers. This is a Bmw R75, I think it said, that was used by the Germans during Operation Barbarossa, the invasion and blitzkrieg of Russia, among other countries. But they used a lot of motorbikes because of the speed of the blitzkrieg, and they were quite effective. BMW. This is a Rolls-Royce Merlin engine used by Spitfires, Hurricanes and Lancaster bombers, I suppose a few others, but it was the most successful British engine for aircraft. This is General Montgomery Staff Car, a Hummer that he used during the Egyptian campaign against the Germans. This is an American Sherman tank used nearly right through the whole of the Second World War by the Americans. This is a Japanese Zero found on the Marshall Islands after the war had finished. That's a Mitsubishi Zero, and that was named by the Americans. It's actually Zero-san, a Japanese word. The sign says there was a lot of repair damage on the plane from other battles before it crashed in the Marshall Islands. This is a Bronze Eagle that Hitler had decorated the Chancellery with, and in April 1945, on the same day that Hitler had killed himself, the Russians pulled this down from the Chancellery building. The sign tells me that this was a little boy similar to the ones dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945. This is a Harrier Jump Jet used in Afghanistan during that conflict, and it was used right up until 2011. It was obviously built and used well prior to that anyway. This vehicle was used by the British after around 1969 in Ireland to suppress the IRA, etc. This was an original Hummer, not the same as the American Hummer, but extremely well reinforced with armour, with hardly any windows to protect the soldiers patrolling the streets. This is an English Spitfire with a Merlin engine, and it was used during World War II by the British, and it's also very famous for its success in the Battle of Britain over London. As a child, I built one of these out of balsa wood and painted it up. It soon got wrecked. The video was produced by myself, and it's the end of another exciting video of our British or England tour 2009, the British War Museum.